Hi, welcome to another Great Car Basic demonstration. This is about installing the latest release of Great Car Basic. We released a new version yesterday, and someone said I hadn't done it for a few months, so I thought I'd just spend half an hour doing it again. Right, okay, I have a brand new installer of Windows 10 here. Just let you know, I have installed Great Car Basics, which I will repeat, okay? But I have installed the patches that you need for Windows 10, etc. This is brand new install. I only installed it the weekend. Let me just talk you through where you can get it from. So go to the Great Car Basic forum or the website. You can just do Great Car Basic on Google, and it just comes up there. It just comes up. And this is our new website. And we tell you something about the product, about what we're doing as a suite. And we got the graphical basic. Oh, and there it is. And then we've got the IDE version. And I'm going to show the IDE version today. And we're going to install both. Okay. We got a whole set of information about the news. As I said yesterday, we did a new release yesterday, so that's highlighted, and you can figure out what if your microcontroller is supported. Probably is. If it's 8-bit, probably supported both for Microchip and for AVR, PIC and IVR. And there's a whole list of what accessories or add-ons we support. Quite a long extended list. And then we have some showcase, some users are put in their showcase stuff up there, and FAQs. You can do a search at the website. You've got access to numerous resources if you do use the search, but we're just going to download the software, okay? 3 main packages available up on SourceForge, and because it's an open source project, it's on SourceForge. You can go and you can pick the Linux distribution, which is very robust. Well, they're all robust. The Great Car Basic graphical version, I spoke about the iconizer version, and then the IDE version. I just select that, or I can select this icon here, the blue one, and it will. If it's blue one, I take the blue one. It would just stop download. Okay, but I just wanted to show you that on the SourceForge we have a discussion and other features up here as well. But I'm just going to download this installer, and this installer was 0 last night, so that's going out at quite a rate. Oh, that surprises me. At that rate, we'll download quite a few this week. So it's just going to do the download. Takes a few seconds to grab the 75 meg download. It's got quite a lot of stuff in it for you. It's got all programmers, terminal software, trying to make it pretty complete. Now, a moment ago, this was going to take me 17 minutes, so I sort of gave up. Got pretty bored on it, and as you can see, I've already downloaded it once onto this machine, and that's okay. We'll wait the 13 seconds, okay? I'm happy with that. As long as it doesn't take the 17 minutes, we're okay. And there we go. When you install, initially, you're going to have to install all the patches for Windows 10. It's not a prerequisite of our software, is that they don't install everything nowadays. So good luck with that, okay? So there might be a reboot involved. I have no idea what configuration you're sitting on. Okay, you will get the Windows Protect Your PC. This dialog has changed over the last couple of months with Windows 10. Our software has been virus checked. It is run on machines. I've not had any experience with it being with issues. We submit it for cleaning, etc. And if you get concerned, just let us know on the forum. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just install that. I'm going to take the dialog. So let's just minimize down that old browser out your way, right? Accept the license, read the license very carefully. Oh, there it is. I'll just show you that. Our contributors, there's quite a lot of contributors. I always miss them. I do apologize for anybody I've missed. Taking the install folder by default and then the group name. Now, because I've reinstalled it, I am reinstalling it, it's asking me to select these checkboxes. And I'm going to take all the checkboxes because I want all the software. You're going to get the IDE, the graphical version, and a series of programmers like PicKit 2, PicKit 3, and a whole load more, okay, that you don't have to go hunting the web for, okay? Now, whilst that's doing that, I am going to bring up a camera, okay, that's on my desktop. So let's bring that up, okay? That's going to be installing in the background. I'm just going to show you what's on my desk here, okay? So that's installing all its stuff. It's installing the compiler, all the tool chain, and the editors, etc. And your cam is just a, oh, there's a picture of me. That was never intended. One of the bench. Got my ski fleece on, even though it's not winter. Okay, I've got some programmers. I've got PicKit 2, PicKit 3. I got another PicKit 3. I got a Northern Products programmer, which we might not use today. We might have time to do that one, but they all work. Okay, I've got this is pull it out of me. I've got an Uno as well because Great Car Basic supports Unos and the Atmel series of chips as well. I've got slowly pulling in. I've taken it out of the box, and it was a brand new unbox. I should have unboxed it. Look, I just unboxed this. Look, wow, pretty cool. This is an Express board. Microchip Xpress Board. It's the evaluation board, and on here it's got wonderful things like a very simple interface. It's got temperature sensors. It's got a pot and LEDs. We're going to use that in a minute. In actual fact, with one of the demos. I've got another one here, a little board here, and this is from my friend Raj in India. Great, he's got the programming connector on here. We might use that. We'll see how we get on. And I've got what's called a low pin count board. I just went and got a whole series of boards to lay on the bench here. Okay, and we might program that in a minute. But these are all supported, all various chips. What else have I got on the bench here? I've got some cables. I've got USB cables, lots of them because I've got different types of boards. So in the background there, you can say that I've installed the software, and it will take you directly into the IDE. The IDE will come up. It's an editor. Now it's empty because I installed this and I rebooted the machine and strange things happen. But normally it doesn't come up with an empty screen because it normally comes up with a demonstration. And so I'll pull up a demo and we'll just open one up, shall we? Okay. So we've got lots of demos. Okay. So I'm just going to open up the stock demo that would be there if you had just opened this machine. And it is pretty simple. It's pretty simple to use Great Car Basic. Anything that's in green is a comment. Anything that's in it starts with the blue stuff is actual command line. And this is essentially a UI, user interface. Now, what shall I do? Let's have a look what I've got over here. In here, I'm going to take a PIC kit. I'm going to take a low count board and I'm going to put these two together. This is pretty simple stuff. Then I'm going to, why has my camera gone a funny color? Don't know. I'm going to put that cable in there and it is going to go live. Now, how do I know it's live? Well, I've actually got the software. I can see the LED's gone live here. I've actually got the software installed. Great Car Basic installs some software for you, and as part of the installation, if you come into here, we put a stock builder PicKit 2 in there. PicKit 2 is pretty simple programmer, and in here I'm just going to show you. Look, I've got the user interface for this programmer, so it has found the chip that is sitting on this board. Okay, and that is a 16F1829. Now, we're going to very quickly, we are going to make these LEDs flash without much trouble. Okay, so really simple. I'm just going to change I'm going to change the chip. Okay, I'm going to say, I know it's a 16F. How do I know that? Because I just looked in that. I just looked on that PicKit 2. I'm going to delete some lines. I'm just going to say to it, the chip is here. I've got a typo in there. Look, 16F is the actual chip. Remember, that comes from over in the PicKit here, 1829. And this PicKit board, this low pin count board, which is in this camera here, these LEDs are connected, as I remember, to must be RC0, no in PicKit, no in Microchip. So all I'm going to say to it is pulse port C.0, and this pulse C.0 for 100 milliseconds, and then do it again. Look, because I've got a do for loop, it will loop around here forever, and it will do a pulse for 100 milliseconds and then wait for 900 milliseconds, and that is a complete working program. I'm going to press this green and yellow button, which is make a hex file. What that will do is interpret this file to this is not I don't want to use the word interpret. It will take the source file, it will take it into assembler. Assembler will then our tools will make you a hex file and it will program it. So its first compilation, it knows what it's doing and it's programming it. Now, for those who don't believe me, right, that didn't happen that quickly, right? There's an LED flashing up. Well, it wasn't flashing before. So let's just watch the camera. This time I'm going to bring that to the left, the editor to the left-hand side by using the Windows. There we go, look. I'm going to say, so it's taking the user program, compiling it, making the hex, and then you can see the PIC kit programming it. It's done. Let's just change the LED because I'm going to change the port. Okay. I'm pressing F5 on the keyboard, which is the same as pressing that green icon. And what's going to happen? It's going to program it, make the file, and it's changed the LED to here. It's very simple to use Graycar Basic. It's so simple, it looks like I'm kidding you. All right. So how does it know to use that PIC kit there? Well, inside of the user interface for Graycar Basic, you've got a little drop down that says edit the AVR programmer, edit the PIC programmer. Well, we're going to have a quick look in here for those who want to change the programmer, obviously. Now look, anything in green is a comment. So we know that the only line that's live in here is this PICkit 2. We have pre-set it up. PICkit 2 works out the box. PICkit 3 can work out the box. It depends what you want, okay? Which programmer you've actually gone and purchased, okay? We support 20 different programmers. So I've proven to you that you can install and make a program work extremely quickly with this pulse out command. It's just a demonstration, okay? It's not complex. If you want complex, go and look at more of the demonstrations. Okay. Let's take that program here, take this, disassemble that, take this, and throw it all away. This is an Uno. I'm going to plug the Uno in. Now the Uno, as far as I know, has never been installed in this machine before. Okay, so it's going to be pretty tricky to figure out. Now, is it going to be tricky? I hope not. Well, I've got to work out, the first thing I'm going to have to work out is what port that is on. Okay, now what I mean by that is that I need to figure out the communication ports of that PIC kit. All right, you can do it a couple of ways, but a really quick way is just to start at the terminal that's installed inside of Graycar Basic, rescan the ports, and my guess is that it's still loading the Windows driver. And it is, so let's just wait there a second. Okay, so I've rescanned and my COM ports come live. So I know that this Uno is sitting on COM port 3. Now, the Uno is sitting here now. Let me have a quick pull that down. Have a look. So let me get rid of that. Got rid of that. Good. It's live. It's sitting there. So we've got a completely different program. Okay. I mean, this is a completely different architecture in terms of the chip. Now I have had to have a look at my machine because I didn't have my USB port connected to here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you that you can figure out another way of, if I knew how to do it. There we go. Look, device manager, right hand mouse button over there in the COM port, and I know that that's on COM port 3. If I disconnect it, COM port 3 will disappear and it will reappear when I plug it back in. So I know that the serial programmer on this Uno is sitting on COM port 3. All right, so an Uno, for those who, well, we're going to take a flyer that you know this stuff, okay? But you might not. You might not know that an Uno is actually just a 328p, okay? All right, and I deleted that. That was already on that program earlier on when I had it in there. And if I want to make the LED flash on this board, okay? Now this board is a, there is an LED that's in there, and it's actually sitting on port B5. I just happen to know this stuff nowadays, which is very sad, right? Okay, and I can now I can compile that program and attempt to program it like I did with the PIC. But because this COM port can be so different, it's very hard for us to guess what that is for you. So what you need to do is just go into your AVR programmer, and in here you will see various different configurations, okay? And these in here there is one for the Uno, and here it is here. Look, it's actually this one here. The one that's live is for AVR Dude, which is another programming methodology. That's okay, they're all good. So I'm just going to comment that out, and then I'm going to come down to my AVR Dude, okay, which is where was it again? It was here, and I'm just going to take that out. So I've confirmed the communication port, and it's on COM port 6, okay, but I need to put it on 3. Save it. Go back to my program, and I'm then going to make a hexadecimal file, and then I'm going to program it using AVR. Now, you can see that the LED is now flashing here. If I go back to my board over here, I'm just going to rebuild the PIC kit. You will see that the pulse is at the same rate as the other one, as it should be. Okay, let's just see if that's going to burst into life for me. Probably won't, because there's no volts in it. Okay, so I just need to put some volts on it. Now, they're slightly out of sequence, but they're running together, okay? And that is doing, if I can confirm that I can set the frequency of that. I really should have said it was 16 megahertz. So I've just programmed 2 different types of architectures with almost identical program. The only thing I've changed is the port, and that was necessary because the actual board is different. This board doesn't have the LED on that particular port. So I've got 2 running so far. Let me get a 3rd running. Let's use this then. Now I've got another USB cable somewhere laying here. I pulled it out earlier on. Another USB cable. Okay, just showing you the different methods. Push those 2 away, they're still running. Okay, so this one is the Microchip Xpress Board. Came out in earlier 2016. But I took it out of the box this morning. It's brand new. I've never seen this, never used it before. It uses a completely different method of programming, right? Okay, all right. But it's just told me on the right hand side it's doing additional setup. Okay, what it's actually doing, okay, it's actually installed it on drive E. Okay, all right. Now let's not do a lot of research on this, but we happen to know between us that this is called a 16F 18855, and it is. Okay, I can prove you that because I've got the brain the size of a planet, but not only that, I've got the PCB in here, and it says what the chip is. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come back into here, and I'm going to tell it, therefore, my little program here, 16F 18855, and it's going to run at 32 megahertz. I can run it at different speeds. I happen to know that the LED on this particular chip is on A01. I've got 4 of them, so I can go A01. Is it? I think it's on A01. We'll find out in a moment. I'm just going to paste that in there. I thought I took a copy of it. Control Z. The keyboard is a few meters away from me. Not meters, that's a bit of a lie. Now, when we were last using this type of architecture, it was programming the PIC kit too. So now I'm just going to change the programmer, because you don't change this dynamically like I'm doing it. You would pick one and stick with it for quite a while. But I'm just going to show you that you can edit the PIC kit in here, this programming batch file, okay, for PICs. And before it was set up to PIC kit 2, I'm going to set it up for the Express board, because I can do an Express board, look, evaluation board. I take the REM out of there, remove it, go down to the lower one that was in blue, okay, and just put my REM back in front of that, a remark. I'm going to save it, go back to my sample program, and all I've done is change the chip, I've changed the port, and I'm going to program it. We built a little utility that then interfaces between your computer and the PIC board, and you'll see the LED hopefully flash. This is completely untested, and you can see that those LEDs, if I turn the light off, it would be great. Look, they're running along as a chain, and they would be because they're staying on for 100 milliseconds each. If I take out this 900 milliseconds here, look, okay, so I just turn it into a comment and reprogram it, we'll see that that would chain along that at a lot faster speed because we're programming it. And there we go. All 4 chips, all 4 LEDs have been programmed by that chip. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, that's still working, and this is still working. I'm drawing some current from my computer quite clearly. Now, you can do the same for a PIC kit. You can do the same for Northern Software. This is really good. I'll do another video on this and compare it to this. Very good programmer. PIC 3 is the model that's released by Microchip, and this is by a gentleman in Canada. I'll do another session on that later. But my intent here was to get you up to speed on how you can actually get started with the various boards that were sitting out there and various programmers. So I really wanted to show how to install and get yourself going. We've done that. So what else is sitting inside of your installation? Okay, I'll leave the camera on that board there. Okay, so because this is a board, I can start at my terminal, and that's got its own serial port as well. So not only has the Uno got a serial port, I can just have a quick look to see. And I've got a COM port sitting on here, COM port 4, which is for the Express board. So let's just run a demonstration that's installed within your setup. And I'm just going to go View Demos. And I'm going to go to a vendor board, and these are vendor boards, and in the vendor boards I've got the Express Evaluation board, and I've got a whole series, 30 demonstrations. It might be more than that because the way they're numbered, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the temperature in the lab here. Okay, I am in the basement of my home. Let's have a look. I can't see the demonstration, so I'm just going to do a quick search. TEMP. Now, because on that board there is a temperature sensor, and in here it's pre-programmed, and it's all set up for you, so you can decompose it, analyze it, play with it yourself and break it and rebuild it. And what it's going to do, it's going to program that in a moment. In the background you can see it's just programmed it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to it via the terminal from COM port 4. I'm just going to change the baud rate to the correct baud rate and just clear that down. And what we're now seeing is the output from this chip. It's now saying to me that it is 23 degrees in the basement, which I actually believe, you know. And there's limits on here, so 30 degrees to 22 degrees, and these different LEDs will flash depending upon what's happening. Okay, so if it's too high or too cold, these LEDs will do their funky stuff, and you can see, look, they're flashing away. That means they're operating, and you can decompose this and see how all the different alarms work inside of this board. Okay, this is a pretty standard board, and we're going to be using this pretty extensively to show you how to do very simple programming to right the way through advanced. So hundreds and hundreds of demos installed in here, and for everything that's in there, if you don't know what a command is as you go through, you want to know how this one works, you can press the F1 key, and the F1 key will take you through to the base, and it will take you through. So I did do me a search on H serial print. What does that mean? How does it work? It will take me to that. So I got context sensitive help. If I don't know how a command works, I can simply, okay, I just want to get some empty space on the screen. I can type in, and it will give me the syntax. I can say HC print a value, and I can go from something a tad more complicated, like define, and it will tell me what I can type in. the help was pretty extensive as well. So what I wanted to just do is very quickly show you how you can install, how you can configure your programmers, and to recap how you reprogram those. You go into your setup, and then you just change these two batch files called the AVR programmer and the PIC. You don't have to use them. You can go to the forum, you can do it yourself, you can do it by hand. I don't care how you do it, but these are set up for you. Remember, if it's in green, it's not operational. If it's in blue, it is working. So at the moment, the one that's working for PIC is the Express loader, and in here it's for the Uno. And it says it's all documented in here what all these different parameters are, but typically you just have to change the COM port. So pretty simple. That's what I wanted to show you. Handful of boards here. I haven't shown you the Northern software. Really cool. And I haven't shown you the PIC Kit 3. But they're pretty similar. They're not that different, really. What you have to do with the PIC Kit 3 is open the user interface. And we've installed that for you. I could show that now, actual fact. I've been very naughty. I've been lazy not showing you. Within your installation, you will find here we go. Within your installation, you will find a folder called GC. There we go, GCB. And in here, you've got a lot of software that's been pre-installed. And if you want the PIC kit to operate, you have to install this manually. We're not allowed to ship this software out on its own. It's not permitted. So you have to install it. Okay. Now we have given you the latest version. We've given you everything that we can to help you. And you just have to install it. There's very little I can do or we can do without breaking the licensing. Okay. It's just asking if I want to install it. Meanwhile, down here, I'll push those all out of the way and unplug that because it's a little bit dangerous. Not dangerous. It's installed the PIC Kit 3. Okay, so I've got this board at the back here. Okay, sorry about the color today. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I've got a PIC Kit 3. I'm just going to plug it in. And then PIC Kit 3, I start up my software. Up it comes. Now, I haven't pushed this in here because I wanted to show you that it's operational before it does this. Oh, I'll do it whilst we're waiting. Here we go, put it in. For some reason, my own experiences is that there is a slight delay on the PIC Kit 3 coming live, but that's live. Okay, it confirms it's F1829. Now, we cannot, we can we? Yeah. We can program this automatically. We can make it work automatically, and in those script files, it's quite easily done. But let's just go back to our little demo that we had running. I'm going to come back to my first program, and I'm going to put that back as it was. I'm just going to edit all that back out and put it back to the 16F829, which was the board. Okay. Now, this board here, okay. That program is now fit for this board. I've got a PIC Kit 3 connected to this low pin count board, and I'm just going to. It's got the same pulse, so it should light the top LED, and I'm just going to make a hexadecimal file. Okay. Now this is a really quick way of doing it. It's my way of doing it. There's a lot of ways of doing it if you talk about it on the forum. Okay. I've made a hex file. So if I just take a copy of the directory, I can do that by using the right-hand mouse button. I can come into here, I can import a hex file, and I can find my folder. I can find my source file, and there it is, first start sample, and it will program it. And you could, if I turn the power on, because I haven't left the power on that, you will see that LED is flashing every 900 milliseconds with it on for 100 milliseconds, and that's what we programmed in the pulse out command. So if I do a make hex, we can then see that compile and generate the hex. In the background, you can see that the PIC Kit 3 is now automatically picking that up and reprogramming it. And so if we change the port, We can quickly change that port, the pulse out command. We can add I'm just going to add a couple more in because this is a 4-port LED device. Just change this formatting on the screen here. Just get everything aligned. And what I'm going to do is very quickly just change the port address. And the first one's on 0, second one's on port 1, port 2, and port 3. Those are the 4 LEDs. And I'll just take that weight out. I'll take that weight out because it's just gonna comment that out, and then we'll compile that up. Compile that up. It creates the assembler, and then creates our hex file for the microcontroller, and it's downloaded automatically via the PICs. And now we've got a chain. Now these LEDs have all been flashing rather randomly, but trust me, this is just the camera. This is causing this minor issue with the LEDs flashing. That is not flashing at random. Okay, so what have we seen? We've seen a PIC kit 3. We could use a Raj board. I'll spend some more time on this Northern software programmer, which is worthwhile having a whole video on its own. Do you remember that what we try to show you is that you've got different methods of programming and changing the configuration using Flash PIC and Flash AVR to configure your personal setup. Okay, and they're saved away within the installation, and you just select make hex and flash, and it will then run the scripts for you. Okay, so I wanted to really show you how to configure. But one thing I've missed off, just make sure you understand, is that we're generating real assembler for microchip controllers for 10F, 16F, 12F, and 18F, plus real assembler for the AVR Atmel microcontrollers, and you can actually learn assembler from that as well. So I wanted to give you this introduction to Great Car Basic, installing, using, and it's pretty high level. Still, it's very high level. The libraries go to extremely low level, and you should really enjoy the experience. We know that we have a growing community, and with that growing community, we will have increased support. We'll call that a wrap, and I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much. Cheers.